In this video, I'm going to talk about mindfulness and give you some techniques on how you can improve your interview by using some mindful techniques. Good luck. One of the most important things that you can do for yourself when you're in an interview is be mindful. Be mindful of the things that you say, the things that you do. When you are in an interview, that's your time. That's your time to shine in front of the HR representative. That's your time to show why you should be selected for that position. You don't want to waste that time or blow that opportunity by not being mindful. And when I say be mindful, what I mean is know what's going on. Pay attention, whether it's a face-to-face interview or over the phone interview or over the computer interview. Know what's going on. Don't be distracted. Understand the questions that's being asked of you, that you're paying attention to the details. Sometimes when an interviewer is talking, they get nervous. Sometimes they may talk faster. Sometimes they may talk slow. They may forget about all of the wonderful things they've done when they get in front of an interview and just mind goes blank. You know, as an HR professional, when I interview people, I expect them to be nervous. I expect them to maybe forget to say things or talk really fast. I do my best to try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Tell them, take a deep breath. It's okay. Sometimes I ask questions that's directly on the resume so they can get comfortable talking with me. When you're in an interview, take a deep breath. Don't rush through. When you are trying to hurry up and get out of the office, it shows. The interviewer can tell that you don't want to be there. You know, interviews are uncomfortable, but you want to make sure that when it's your time, when it's your moment, that you're in front of the person who can get you that job that you want, that you are putting your best foot forward, that you are giving them the best that you have. You don't want to look back and have regrets that you went too fast, or maybe you forgot to say this, or maybe you should have said that. So in an interview, being mindful is one of the most important things that you can do. You know, this is the time. This is your moment. This is the scheduled time that was scheduled for you to tell the HR representative why you should be selected for the interview. So when you're out there, again, whether it's face-to-face or whether you're over the computer and you are having an interview, you want to be mindful. Be mindful of the things that you say. Be mindful of the things that you don't say. Sometimes when you're interviewing, the interviewer may ask you questions that may seem like they're asking the same question, like they just asked that question. And I'm going to give you a good example. How would you handle a customer who was rude to you? That's question number one. Question number two. Tell me about a time a customer was rude to you. It sounds like the same question, and a lot of people get confused and they get tangled up on what exactly the answer is. So I'm going to break that down for you right now. Tell me about a time. Tell me about a time that has happened to you before, that a customer was rude to you, if that's the question. Tell me about a time a customer was rude to you. So you want to think of a time when you were working that a customer was rude to you and how you handle it. That's what they want to know. What have you done in your past? When they ask the question, how would you handle? That's a hypothetical question. How would you handle a customer being rude to you? If it's happened to you in the past before, you can say, well, in the past, this is how I've handled it. If it's never happened to you before, and this is a good example for people who've never worked before. If you've never had a job before and you get asked the question, how would you handle a customer being rude to you? You want to think about, how would you handle? Would you smile and say, I'm sorry, I'm unable to answer your question to the customer. Let me get you somebody more experienced, like the manager. Is that your answer? Or would you say, yell back at them or be rude back to them? That's what they want to know. How would you handle? They want to know, tell me about a time, because they want to know what you've done in the past. So in an interview, when I specifically say be mindful, understand the question that's being asked of you, because that is two different answers. Tell me about a time and how would you handle? It could be, the answers could be similar, but in fact, they are two different questions. talk about mindfulness, I'm talking about being mindful, not perfection, not being a perfectionist, not being perfect, because there's no perfect person. You're not allowed to make mistakes in an interview, because that also is not true. You're human. You're a human being. Human beings make mistakes. The HR representative makes mistakes as well. So they do not expect somebody to be in there all perfect answers, all perfect attire, all perfect, no mistakes. They do not expect that. But you want to be mindful, because when you're interviewing, you are competing. So you want to make sure that you're giving that you're giving the best that you got, that you're putting your best foot forward. So you want to be mindful in making sure that you understand the questions. You want to be mindful in your answers. Not perfect, mindful. Mindful that you are aware of the questions being asked and you answer them to the best of your ability. Also, in an interview, when someone asks you the question, I know I've given techniques on how to rephrase the question back to make sure that you understand the question. But even in doing that, in the tool that I gave you on how to do that, even if you don't know how to do that, you can say, I don't understand the question. Can you give me an example? It is okay to say that, instead of just talking in left field and the HR representative has no clue of what you're talking about. You can say, it's okay to say, I don't understand the question. Can you give me an example? You can also say, I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase? You can also say, I need a minute to think about that question. Can we go on to the next one? All of those are perfectly okay to say in an interview. In an interview, being mindful is just being mindful, not of what they're asking you, but just of yourself. And if you know you don't understand the question, it is okay to say, again, it is okay to say, I do not understand the question that you're asking. Can you give me an example? And that doesn't mean that you are dumb or look stupid. What it means is sometimes is maybe I'm asking you a question you've never heard of. If I'm asking you about a software that you didn't even know exists, you may not understand the question. Or you're so nervous, because that a lot of times is the case, that you're so nervous in this interview that just everything has gone to mush and you just need a minute or you need help to get to where you need to be. But you are the one. It is your responsibility, yours, to say that. It is not the HR representative person to say, do you understand what I'm asking you? It's not their responsibility. They're not going to say that, because they're going to assume that you know what they're asking if you start talking and answering the question. So in an interview, the moment that you realize, I don't understand the question, I don't even know what's being asked of me, to say that in a respectful way. I don't understand the question. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the answer that you're looking for, but I don't think I understand the question. Can you give me an example?